We're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Whale, where
Whoa!
we have a
Woo!
casual and informal recorded conversation about Star Trek. Today's Star
Oh,
Trek episode.
damn. How'd you feel about that, audience?
Today's Star Trek episode is season 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks, episode 7. A few badgies more.
It is indeed.
Yeah, we do have a live audience, but we're not live. So hello to everyone who's in the live chat over there. I think it's like here on the
I
side.
would like to say that
And then people who
an
comment
audience is always
are right
live,
over
is it
here.
not?
Yes, but it could
Right?
be a live studio audience,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like
This is
like
a live chat audience.
our live chat audience, exactly. Right. So thank you for joining us. It's nice to see you guys, even though we really don't know who's there, but we can just guess that all of our favorite people are there right now, including us. Are we there? We might be there.
We might
Are
be
you
there.
in
Who
the
knows?
chat?
Me?
Hi.
I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
in the chat, but hey.
Hi, Toddy. If Toddy's in the chat, hey, what's up? Peace to you.
Hey. Hi, Sahel, if you're on the chat. Everyone put LLAPs in the chat.
Ooh, I like that.
They like to do that on the Twitch over in the
Like
stream.
flood
They
the chat
they do
with
something,
the
and there's just like
LLAPs.
LLAPs.
Oh, I like that. So, Toddy, how you been? How's your week? It's been a short period of time since I've seen you because I just saw you on Friday. Today is actually Sunday. We're recording this in advance because this coming Friday, I won't be able to make it to the live. So I appreciate you joining me today on this Sunday fun day to record this. But how are you? How's everything going?
I'm going good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here contemplating the attention one of my tweets is getting. It's like nonstop. Like
Your
people
tweets are ascending.
my tweets are one of these tweets just like getting a lot of attention. So many comments.
A tweet lord.
So many comments. Wow, it's like I thought I wrote a tweet that deserved no comments, but it's quite
your
the
tweet's a
opposite
comment deserving, sir.
This one is. Most of my tweets go by without comments, but this one, wow, I must not have been clear.
It's because you're talking about canon, right? So every time anyone touches around like this, the subject, the topic of canon, whether you're right or wrong or whatever, it's a subject. You know, it's a touchy subject that gets people all riled up.
It does indeed, quite riled up. But we're not here to talk about or debate canon, at least not right now, because I don't think there's anything that defies canon in this episode.
I don't think so. I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so. There's nothing quite harmful in that way. Maybe, I don't know. What about ascensions? I wonder. It's interesting. I don't know.
Well, the koala is a bit of a situation, though, isn't it?
No, because it's beyond the astral plane. It's like
they've canonized that is now a thing, right?
The koala is what some people have seen, namely, who is it? Let's see. We've the guy Haley Joel Osment's character. He's played a few characters on Lower Decks, but that one guy, he's seen the koala. Was he the first to see the koala? That guy in that Tendi episode?
Yes. Now you see, there's a guy, or there's a guy that ascended in TNG, right? Remember, like he was wearing like a onesie.
Yeah, but we didn't see his perspective, so we don't know.
But I'm pretty sure he must have seen the koala. I'm pretty sure
he must have.
He was a koala witness.
But would he have seen it as the koala, or would it have appeared as a different animal to him because he's not human, or even a different thing altogether? Do you see what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying to get at. Is what is the koala is only what we've seen from a few people's perspectives.
It's how we compute it, right? It's how we compute the information with like our knowledge and our capacities.
Right.
Maybe if you're a little slow, yeah. It's not a koala. It's a sloth that you see, right?
It could be the great sloth. It's true. I always thought it was a great bird, which that does happen too, by the way. Like as you're ascending, there's a bird that forms, right? Like
that's
the great bird of the galaxy,
right?
Right, and it takes
the
you
Gene
to
Roddenberry
the koala.
that encompasses the koala. Yeah. as
I can't
as
believe this is
all,
how we're starting this
as
conversation.
all things are. I mean, this is canon. It's it's three-dimensional canon. You know what I mean? It's not even three-dimensional. It's like seven-dimensional because it's
It
every
is
astral plane
legit.
altogether.
That's actually legit. It's
It's
beyond 3D. It's
seven-dimensional
like
canon. You know what
seventh.
I mean?
It is. I agree with that. It's got to be the seventh dimensional canon there. That's what happens to the canon cop in the seventh dimension. He gets defunded. Sorry, I had to. Remember when I was trying to defund the canon cop?
I remember that.
That was fun. You were so mad. No, you weren't mad, but you were defending the canon cop. Or
No,
you
I
didn't
think
care.
I
I
think
don't
the
remember if
canon
you
cop
cared
made a good
actually.
move. He took a hiatus.
He
You know what I
did
mean?
take a hiatus. It's true.
You know, there's a time where cops are needed, and sometimes where cops aren't. And I felt like there was a moment there where we didn't so much need the canon cop. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, he's not an actual cop. He represents something else altogether. But still, it was not a time for that. But you know, the canon cop, he's got a certain look to him, so he can always, you know, I guess reconvert into something else with his life.
Oh my god, what's wild is he's totally still a GIF that's available. He's not the first. He's not the first GIF anymore. If you type it, he's now the
What?
second GIF.
How?
Yeah, there's
What? It's someone else?
there's
How
like
dare
this
they?
weird unrelated GIF, and then
If you write canon cop.
you're trying to type it too.
Oh yeah. What the hell is that? It's like a box. It's a box
Yeah,
of
it's like a
what?
box. But I love that he's there. It's so amazing. Who who created that GIF? That's great. Was it you? Did you create the GIF?
Yes.
Everyone go
But
check out
but
if you type Canon Cop
I created the GIF
in
on like
Giphy,
some random website because I just wanted to have it
have
like
it.
on my phone. And I think that when you create them on certain random websites, they basically like it's I think you're making it in public domain, right? So you're just
Yeah,
publishing it everywhere. So somehow it got connected to like the gifts of the internet, and now there's the Canon Cup.
that's pretty rad. All
Canon
right, let's
Police
get
Department, you called.
you called.
You called. That's what he
You
says.
called. That was his voice. That's right. It was a good. I miss your character. There's other
Yeah,
characters.
there was
I
characters.
feel
There was
like.
Bob. There was Muratati. Anyway, it was a whole
Oh, I
thing.
love Mirror Toddy. I remember Mirror Toddy now. Mirror Toddy was goth.
He was pretty gawk.
That's right. All right, now that we've
Uh,
gone down memory lane for 8 minutes,
yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
everyone's shown up and we're ready to talk about Lourdes. Toddy, do you do the episode summary for this
No,
one?
not this
I'll
time.
help.
I've been
I'll
doing
help
it.
you. I'll help you. I know, but I feel ill prepared because of my allergies. But okay,
How is
fine.
that related?
The Drukmani are scavenging in space, and they happen to pick up Rutherford's old eyepiece, which is infested with Badgie,
Mm.
and Badgie in Borg-like fashion takes over one of the Drukmani, and then from there, it's all over. He's now got a ship, and he's gonna use it to plot against his former shipmates and his father, who he hates,
His nemesis.
his nemesis, his father. Meanwhile, we get the Binars just on a normal Binar mission. Is that the first Binar ship we ever see, by the way? It's pretty
I
cool.
think
I
so.
think it
They're just
is. I think it is, yeah.
they're binaring their way around space, you know, as they
They're
do.
just I love that like sound they make to communicate. I can't do it probably, but the show did it perfectly. I can't even do it. I can't even do it if I tried. Anyways, they're victims to this mysterious ship. Then we go to Daystrom, and then we find that to get a clue to what's going on after this, they send Tendi and Boimler to Daystrom to figure out what Agamus knows about this because he claims to have some knowledge about it. And we find that he and Peanut Hamper are in rehab, and they're scheming to pretend like they're reformed to get out of Daystrom and then go do their mischief. But as we find out through the episode, Peanut Hamper was legit. Like, what started out as a lie, fake it till you make it. What started out as a lie turned out to be real for her. And so then we have Agamus trying to, meet her at the place where she said and everything, and she's not there. And then we go and we find out she's back with her Binar family doing like chores.
What do you mean by now?
I'm sorry, her
Come on. Exocomp.
Exocom family. Thank you. Her Exocom family doing chores and stuff, and we're introduced to Daddy and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, Badgie turns out to be an interesting story because Rutherford's approach to stop Badgie is to just love him, just to like embrace him and say like, this is what I should have done all along, and that causes Badgie to glitch out, splits into into three versions of himself. One is called Goodgie, and the other one's called Logicy. But then Badgie gets all crazy, and he's got complete control of the whole network. He decides to put himself into every ship, and he ascends. But what happens when he ascends, Toddy? None of it matters anymore, and it's all good.
That makes sense. I mean, to be honest, that makes sense. Like, if you were given all of the wisdom of the universe, it'd be like, why am I beefing? You know what I mean? About this, like, this ridiculous thing. You know what I mean?
Why am I beefing? Indeed. So that happens. But anyways, we find out through all of that, all those shenanigans. Well, first of all, Goodgie survives. The other one, Logicy, doesn't survive. But Goodgie survives, goes back with the crew. They're all like good. But we also found out an important clue, which is the ships that have been attacked by that mystery vessel have not been destroyed. They've been captured, ship-napped instead. So now we have to figure out what's going on. Well, I blow my nose. Why don't you tell us your... Yeah, go ahead.
I'll blow your nose, and I'll go on this parenthesis. So for those that know anything about the Trick on the Tube deep lore, before I started my channel and before Star Trek Discovery was a thing, I was writing my own Star Trek show. Because I was one of those Star Trek people that somehow believed that maybe one day, I don't know, like a magical pigeon would come and pick up my script and send it to Paramount for some reason. I don't know why. But I was writing a show called
It could still happen.
I was writing a show called Star Trek Unity.
Yes, I know.
And one of the twists was, like, for the first couple of seasons, this enemy that I had in the season, it was all mapped out, but they would be shooting, like our Starfleet officers and what have you. And one of the big twists was, like, none of them ever really died. Like, we think that they're disintegrated, like they vaporized completely, but they're not. They're actually being beamed. And, like, you learn in, like, a later season, like season 3, that every time someone got shot, they were actually, instead of vaporizing, they were getting beamed back to, like, the enemy vessel, and now they've been using them as, like, slaves and what have you. So that was one of the big twists, and it kind of reminded me of like the twist that we got here on Lower Decks.
I remember reading your thing, and I don't remember that part. It was a long time. It was like 7 years ago when I read that, or 6 years ago, maybe 5 years ago.
I think you read, like, the pilot.
Oh, okay, that's
or like
cool.
part 1 of the double episode or something like that. I think that's what I sent you.
But that's cool that you came up with kind of the same idea, which is interesting. But I guess, wow. You never know. Star Trek Unity could still become a thing. You'd have to change it a little, right? With all because it was set like...
Yeah, well, Star Trek Picard and
era,
and of course,
yeah.
I think Prodigy, of course, would change a couple of things, because those are the current, the present of Star Trek is what we call it around these parts. But yeah.
Well, what do you think's going on then? Any ideas with this big major clue? We'll start with that right now, since we're talking about it. But now that you know that the ships are being ship-napped, what do you think's going on? Do you have any idea?
Is it the Packlids again? Are we now dealing again? Have we gone back to the Packlids? It seems very advanced tech, to be kidnapping these ships, and also it seems very. I don't mean to be rude, but would the Packlids be um, bright enough to leave behind debris? You know what I mean? Because they're leaving behind debris, like they're taking the ships, but they're leaving debris behind to emulate the destruction of the ships. Clearly, you know what I mean. So are the Packlids that clever?
Well, they're not, but as we've seen before, there's always someone behind the Packlids,
Mm.
but you never know.
It
So
could be
who
like a
could
badmiral of some kind. You know what I mean?
be a Badmiral? Maybe
And
we've
even
already
at
had a Badmiral, right? Like we had that with the Starship Texas. Remember the USS Texas and that whole
yeah,
thing with the yeah. So we've already had that. We've had the Packlids. I'm gonna. Well, I already know what happens, so I can't.
yeah.
I'm gonna say don't spend too much time thinking about the Packlids. Is
Oh,
what I'll
okay, fair
say.
enough. Fair enough.
That's
I
my
I am a little disappointed that we kind of moved away from the Packers because I thought they would become the big bad kind of like recurring enemy of Lower Decks. But then I don't like I'm not in the writing team and I'm not in the writing room, and maybe they did kind of exhaust the possibilities that were available with like the Packlids. I mean, I'm fully open to that being a possibility. Like we've done enough stories with them. I think now it's time to move on.
yeah
But
yeah
yeah,
that's fair.
I'm not. No, I'm still quite uncertain about what's going on. You know what I mean?
I
I
love
had
it.
I had a moment where I thought maybe Packlids, um, because of the theft. The stealing.
Right, right, because they like to do that. But
They
yeah,
like
I would
they like
say
to take like that.
they do. I would say. By the way, how far are you in Discovery? Did you get any further?
No, not yet. I watched Lower Decks. I didn't have time to watch Discovery. I will. Well, it's my fault. It's because I watched another episode of Fallout. Um, but I really should alternate. I should do one Fallout, one Discovery. That way I can.
Well, tell me what you thought of your deeper thoughts about the episode overall, and then we'll talk about the binars first. while I pull it.
I went into this. So I went into this a little scared because I wasn't the biggest fan of Badgie. I understood and appreciated what they were trying to do with that original Badgie episode, but it's not an episode that necessarily worked for me. I used to often talk about the line, the line that we cross or do not cross that keeps something being Star Trek, whatever that means. Now, and we've also talked about how that line is a very personal line. Like it's not the same for everyone. But in my personal line, I felt was crossed in terms of like what was Star Trek and what wasn't when it came to Badgie, especially in like the murdering and the blood and what have you. Although I will say it is very holodeck related, um, in that original episode. And then I think from then on, like just Badgie was more of an annoyance to me. Like it's not so much that he was a good villain; it's that he was more so an annoying character. Like sometimes I don't know, it didn't work too well for me. The same way, like Peanut Hamper is excessively annoying, but I think she works really well as a character, and I love her for that. So I wasn't going in this necessarily excited, but the moment they started giving me like Agamus and Peanut Hamper together, I was like, okay, this is working. And what they did with Badgie was very, very clever. Am I the only one that didn't understand that bad in Badgie was because he was bad, and now Guji because he's good? Like, am I the only one that didn't get that? You're muted, my friend.
I don't think it was meant to be God. I think because he's a badge, so they called him Badgie, but it worked
Yeah,
out.
and
Yeah,
it
but it
worked
worked
out
out.
well. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
I
that's
don't think it
clever.
was meant. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Like that, that Mike McMahon,
They're
he's got
clever
like
people,
he's a
those
very
writers.
those writers. He and the team may have had this solid. By the way, here's my badgie right here.
Perhaps it was a lucky coincidence. I don't know, but it was very clever when they were like, "Oh, Gucci." I was like, "Oh,
Right.
yeah, well, of course, Gucci, Badgie, and Gucci."
And then
Ah, makes
Logic-y.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Logic Key, like that. Come on, that's a stretch. But anyway, they murdered him. No, I liked the whole like when Rutherford started doing the whole uh like I don't know, when he started trying to defeat him by like using this, and I was like, okay, well, this has been done before, and it's been done very, very well in other iterations of Star Trek. Is like I don't know how really like they can add to it, but the fact that they had him separate into like these multiple parts, multiple personalities, I was like, okay, so they did something pretty good with it. They did something clever with it.
Do you think do you think Goodgie's gonna stay Goodgie? Is that like a good idea for Rutherford to have brought Goodgie back on the ship? And do you
No,
think
I believe in Gucci.
now it's interesting that Badgie is that gold color. They brought in Goodgie, which we've seen the silver kind of one,
Mm-hmm.
right? When have
Mm-hmm.
we seen that bronze color on? Oh, I know when we've seen it. I figured it out.
Isn't it Discovery has the bronze ones?
Maybe they also have but this is like a bronze color.
Oh, okay.
So there's a bronze color Badgie. So Logic-E is that color.
Mm.
Interesting. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I believe in Gucci. He's a little goofy, that one, isn't he?
He's a,
He's a
he
little
is a little
silly.
bit goofy. They have a Badgie toy, like a 5-inch toy?
Oh my god. I see. I'm not into it. I'm not into it.
You really hate Badgie, huh?
Yeah,
Or hate
I'm not. Oh my god. So I
I
really
love
I
this
respect and
reaction.
I appreciate and respect the animation, and I don't know if this is a deliberate reference to SpongeBob, but
Oh,
the dramatic zoom ins and the enhanced detailing on like Angry Badgie very much reminded me of like the ultra detailed dramatic shots of when they show like SpongeBob, you know what I mean? Like when he's exhausted or sad or scared, all of a sudden they show you like this ultra ultra zoomed in kind of like almost
right.
like
Those
a graphic depiction of it of
it's
SpongeBob, you know what I mean?
it's neat that you notice those things because I guess I don't watch enough other animation to notice those things. But yeah, that's pretty
Mm.
cool. I bet it is an intentional much because isn't SpongeBob like insanely popular? Uh,
Oh yeah, I like SpongeBob is a very popular show, and I would assume that a lot of animators, or people that like are involved with the creation of animated shows, like they know and enjoy SpongeBob. Like I would assume so.
Very cool. I often was told that my personality reminds people of SpongeBob, but I don't know if that's true or not. Are you laughing because it's true, or are you laughing because
I can see it. Yeah, I can actually see it. But that makes me your Patrick, so I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about it either because I haven't seen the show. So hopefully it's a good thing.
Actually, I think the more I grow, the more Squidward I am for people that watch SpongeBob. So,
Here's an image of what I was talking about during the ascension. They seem to always oh, why is it so small? Why so small, image? You're like
oh
high
my
res. There we go.
goodness, disgusting. Look at the pixels on that. How dare you? I mean,
How
Paramount won't
dare
take us.
you?
The Paramount won't take us down for that. I'll tell you that.
All right, let's talk
So how?
about these
So
guys.
okay. You want to talk about the binars?
Yeah. Oh wait, you had a question though. It sounded like about Badgie.
No, I just wanted to talk about like how we felt about his ascension. You know what I mean? But we.
I always think of those. I thought it was an interesting thing. There was like pretty much. I think it's the only like what we talked. I don't know if we talked about this online or what, but it was like the only conclusion I feel like
Mm,
when you get that powerful, right?
yeah, that makes sense to me. So I know that we're talking. We're all over the place on this conversation. Deal with it, people.
Deal with it.
I want to talk about the ending
Oh,
because
okay. Let's go back to the ending.
most to all of the endings that we've had here in this episode were good endings. You know what I mean? Like it was all wonderful in a sense because Badgie is no longer out there seeking revenge and wanting to destroy people and life. He ascended. He sees life itself. You know what I mean? And he's become, I would assume, like an ascended good being. Peanut Hamper is actually reformed. It would seem like to a degree,
I
like
don't
as
believe it. I
so
don't
you don't
believe
believe
that.
it, but as we leave it all, as we leave it here, Peanut Hamper is reformed.
Formed,
She's
yeah.
nice. She's spending quality time with her exocomp parents and family that speak like exocomps from TNG, which I appreciate. I appreciate that. Um,
They did. It's true.
Agamis, Agamis is still in prison, but he's more confident about like becoming a better person, and like his evil scheme is to like become good. That's like his evil scheme to leave prison is like I will become good and meet my girlfriend. Nah, you know what I mean, like that. So I appreciate like the good ending for Agamis too. Like this is I feel like this is a very poetically Star Trek episode where we took some
Yeah, I
of
guess
the worst like kind of like AI villainy things that we've seen, and we've given them these positive
also now
perspectives on life and on the future.
I don't know what's in store for season 5, but now that we've had like this kind of you could leave these characters here and I think it'd be satisfactory. Like if we didn't
Oh yeah,
have
no,
them,
this
yeah,
this
like
feels
this
like
feels like an ending to that arc, right? Like
yeah.
it's
If they want to do more
that
with
storyline.
them, I mean, Badgie, I think Badgie's finished. I don't think you can really do more. Like once I feel like once a character has ascended, I no longer want to talk to them too much. I no longer want to see them because in my mind they have ascended beyond the show. Like we can't interpret
What
or
they're doing
yeah what they're
or
doing. Like
yeah.
let them do what the ascended do. Um, but no, like I feel like Agamis and Peanut Hamper, they're at that point. I like it. I almost feel like I wanted something like this for
It
Moriarty now, right?
is this an homage to is this like a Gul Dukat Kai Wynn kind of situation going on here? Like
No, I
in
don't.
a
I don't think so because
you don't think Peanut Hamper is as bad as Kai Wynn? And Agamus is like a murderer, murdering AI who's subjugated planets similar to Gul Dukat. I guess I would have called them like
okay.
mirrors of
So
you know what I mean?
are
Like
they as bad? Probably yes, but I think that there is a difference in character in that it would like from what we have at the end of this episode, both of these characters have it in them to like change enough to be able to live on like together in a simple life, whereas Ducat and Kai Wynn, I think they were very much fated to die. Like they were so evil and so caught up and so like fanatic in the evil doings that
right. So
they
this is like yeah, I see what you mean. Like they're not like them because they didn't end up like them. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, there was a limit that in like as we've seen so far, Peanut Hamper found, and she was able to find the limit and stop and come back, and she didn't cross the line. Well, she did, she crossed plenty of lines, but I mean
I don't know what she did to Rada is unforgivable. Gah.
Jesus Christ.
You didn't
I love
remember
it. I
Rada?
love it. I love and hate that episode. Really,
You didn't remember my
I know.
husband
I do.
Rada?
I do. I didn't remember he was your husband. I remembered like
Oh my god.
The cloaca discussions. That's what I remember.
We did have cloaca discussion.
I absolutely love. I love the fact that Agamis can turn blue. I
And
think
red.
it's. I think
Like,
it's. I think it's a poignant commentary on the very obvious like meme that evil AI is red, right?
right.
Like
And
it's
it's always good
haha.
AIs like
And good
blue, yeah.
AIs are like blue or green, but usually they're blue. And I find it very funny that not only can he do this, but also he has to put an effort. He's like boom, and then he goes blue. It's like he's groaning into it. You know what I mean? I love it.
It is pretty funny. There's this blue version and then there's the red version. I love this image because Tendy's just building a sandcastle.
Yeah, sand. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, if you've never seen or even heard of sand before, and then you're presented with the concept of it, it must be pretty wild. Especially like she says on Orion, what they have like jagged rocks.
Maybe it's true. I feel like sand has to anywhere that erosion happens, like a geologically active planet, there has to be sand. Like rocks
Isn't there?
grinding.
Don't we have a planet in our solar system where it rains diamonds?
I don't believe it's in our solar system, but I believe it's been identified.
There's no
Uh,
sand there. I'll guarantee you that.
or there could be diamond sand. Could you imagine how horrible that would be for your feet?
Jesus, that would cut you to pieces, wouldn't it?
It would. Diamond sand. Diamond sand would be very bad. Um,
It would look
it's
very pretty though. It would burn your eyes when the sun reflects on it, though. I would assume.
it's theorized there could even be asteroids filled with diamonds and gold and all kinds of other resources.
The
You know,
space.
that's what they're trying to do. Toddy, you think all these billionaires are trying to go to Mars just to start, like a new life? No, they're trying to create,
No, I know
um,
they're trying to go there to fuck it up.
well, I think to escape Earth because a lot of people fear that like we're heading for destruction, but
Oh
also a
yeah,
lot of
they fear the planet that is dying. So the solution is to go to on the one that is already dead.
which you could rehabilitate with apparently a few
Why don't we
nuclear.
rehabilitate this one? We're already here.
I know. I agree.
It's
I agree. I'm totally on the same page as you. But yeah, no, but in all seriousness, back to, like a lot of these private space ventures, they're 100% in the long game going to go after the asteroid belt and mine
oh
resources.
yeah,
And you would think that that would
they have
change
to load out.
everything. You would think and hope that that would change everything. Like you have unlimited diamonds, you have unlimited gold. Like, what do we need? Like, will that change humanity? Will we then be a scarcity, free society? And would things like homelessness disappear and war and all that
No,
stuff?
because there's nothing useful over there on the asteroid belt. Like there's no rice. We have no grain. Know what I mean? There's no water. There is a lot of water actually. There's ice. We need to feed people.
Yeah, but if we have like lots and lots of money, you could do it. I don't want to get too far into this, but my understanding is, at least here in the United States, a lot of these harvests are so big that they have to burn part of them or destroy them in order to sell them for the price that they want. So they
Jesus
create a
Christ.
scarcity instead of sending it to countries that need them. So that's the state of humanity right now. We've got a surplus of food, and rather than bring the cost of food down, you burn it so that you can keep the cost of food up. Very interesting. But anyways, yeah, that's what we're up
Who are
against.
we to judge Agamus?
Who are we to judge Agnes? Indeed, it's kind of depressing. But yeah, I
You know what
agree
I
with you
mean?
that this is kind of like surprisingly a very happy ending for both of these, for all the evil AI in Lower Decks that we got. These, like, everyone thought there was going to be like one big evil AI versus the Cerritos
Hmm.
showdown, and I guess this was kind of it, but it was just unexpected how it turned out, which is pretty cool. And it wasn't
Hmm.
the main baddie of the season either. So a lot of people were thinking that Badgie, Agamus, and Peanut Hamper were behind the ship that's stealing the kidnapping, and stuff like that. And it turns out it's not them.
Yeah.
What are you looking up? Food,
I'm
food.
trying to. I'm trying to find the name of the other evil AI. I absolutely loved it.
The one that was teasing Agamus.
Yeah, he's got the best name.
Let
It's impeccable.
me see if I
I've sent myself on like a tangent trying to find this thing.
well, while you find that, I'm gonna bring the binars back up because I've been dying to talk about these
Talk
binars.
about the binars, but I want you to only talk about it in binar.
I can't do it. I can't
That
do
wasn't bad. There was like a mic pop, and that wasn't bad.
it. Now, I thought it was interesting that in the opening scene, there's not every binar seems to have a pair. Did you notice that at all, or was that done on purpose? Do you think there was? Remember, there was three binars in the opening scene in that lower decks area,
Well, maybe
and
they're
then
not always. Are they always
to,
together at all time? Is
well,
that supposed to be? Or maybe they're on the ship somewhere. You know what I mean?
look at this. It's interesting because here on the ship you have two. It's cool because you have a binar configuration for the captain. So it's the captain is a pair,
Hmm.
right? Then you have the first officer is a pair. Then you have the two binars that came up from below, and then the single one goes over to the right over there and is all by themselves in the station. So that binar is that's the binar I was talking about. Like, so all the other binars here are paired except for that. Do you see him there in the little
So
side
you're
pane there?
saying is non-binary?
Yeah, I guess I am saying that. I, that's that's exactly what I'm saying, Toddy. Is we have a non-binary binar over here, but
Hey, that's how it is.
now I want to know the story about the lonely binar because, well,
Tyrannochillicus.
and also Tyrannochillicus. Let me
I'm
look at
sorry,
that.
but I mean, the guy's called Tyrannochillicus. I don't know if he can be kind. You know what I mean? Maybe, but he might have to change the name just for like image.
I love that you had to. Here he is. Here he is. I like that they all look like PC computers. None of them
They
look
all
like
look
a Mac.
like gaming computers.
They do actually.
They're
They
all
do
pretty
look.
RGB and shit, you know. There he
There's your
is, Tyrannochillicus,
Now that
in
you
all his
found him,
glory
can you
and
get
all his
back
might.
to now? Can you focus on the binars
I
here? Like,
will.
yeah.
If I become excessively rich, I will get my computer will be designed to look
To
like
look
this.
like
Someone will build me
Tyrannochillicus.
Tyrannochillicus the case. That's it. There we go.
That
That's
seems like
also
pretty easy.
that's a pretty cool name for a band too. Tyrannochillicus.
Tyrannochillicus. It's a pretty good name.
Tyrannochillicus Rex.
Oh my.
Binars. Yeah, Binars are an early TNG season kind of highlight. You know,
Yeah.
because the show was kind of like finding its footing, I guess. Like people often talk about how like TNG had a kind of like a rough start, and I think the Binars were they were a great addition to those early episodes, and
Oh,
bringing them back slaps.
I think I found that binar's pair. Never
Okay,
mind my theory about
behind.
the. Yeah, right behind this, the one cap. Do you see the little
Mm,
cursor I have here?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't get it. But right here, they probably run over here to the
So do you
station.
think they're a non-binary binars and it's like all taboo and shit, or do you think like
That would
they
be lovely to
the way
see.
they function is they have to like, you know what I mean? That's how they function.
That's
Almost
how
like they have a
I
symbiosis.
think I think binars were always a very social paired species, perhaps. Like they were probably into pairing off, but then when they developed technology, I think it like forced them to be paired all the
Mm.
time.
Mm.
So I think it'd be interesting to explore. I love just I don't know why I'm so
Binar
obsessed.
law.
Yeah, I'm so obsessed that Lower Decks brought the binars back. That's like my favorite part, even though it's like the tiniest part of the episode. I think it's my favorite part of the episode because I kind of want to know more about them. Like, I really think they're a fascinating species. I think you could tell a lot of cool stories
Mm.
about humans through the binars. Like, it might be an interesting thing.
I do love that like they are um I guess kind of like they kind of non-binary or kind of like
Yeah, they don't express gender in a traditional fashion of male
no,
and
and
female.
they have like a very petite kind of like statue uh um silhouette, sorry. And I don't know, I like the general vibe of them. And yeah, I would like to spend some more time on their planet learning about their lore. Do you think they're Trinars?
Oh, I wonder, right? Like, is there another
Because
kind
what
of
happens if one dies? You know what I mean? Like, what happens if one of the two pairs die? Like, is the Binar alone, or does the Binar like attach itself to another pair, or do you have to wait until someone else loses their pair as well? What a
it's
depressing episode to watch. That you know how people would tear up if you showed them an episode of Binars and it's like a Binar that lost their other Binar, And throughout this whole episode, they're dealing through they're dealing with this, the depression and the sadness. But at the end, they find another Bynar that had also lost their other Bynar, and then they can rebind together. You know how you
Rebind.
know you know how emotional that would be.
That would be really weird. But also, here's what Memory Alpha says. The Binars were shorter in height than most humanoids and were
Mm,
genderless. They had
mm.
lilac skin and then large skulls. Each Binar had a patch of dark purple hair on both sides of their neck. I didn't notice that, and asymmetrical ears. Their most definitive characteristic was that they were interconnected with a master computer on Binus. I forgot that part. That they're all connected. They're like Borg, but without the hate. When a Binar was born, a surgeon removed the child's parietal lobe and replaced it with a synaptic processor. That's an
Oh shit!
Enterprise regeneration. Binars always are the Binars in Enterprise?
No, no.
No, no.
TNG,
One
uh,
one one zero
and
zero 1 0 0 1 is the
and
only no
and lower decks.
is the only thing I know about.
Oh my
Maybe the
goodness, I've been spoiled,
why?
so to
Oh,
speak.
don't look!
Well, it
Don't
says that
look!
they return. It just says that like there's two more
Uh,
episodes where they're featured in lower decks.
okay,
So we
okay,
get
yeah, yeah.
more by now. So now I understand where your major hype is coming from, because they're not just here.
Yeah.
Like we get more by now. That's cool.
Binars always worked and lived in pairs. There was a great degree of physical symmetry between each Binar couple. For instance, each Binar's pair of ears matched those of their partner, but were
Mm,
on the opposite side of the head. Their
mm,
typical clothing was also consistent in such a way because the Binars were so interconnected with the master computer, their language and thought patterns became as close to binary code as possible. They could speak English, usually finish each other's sentences. For example, 1 0, it is a great pleasure, 0 1, to work on such a large mobile computer. The Binar's primary language, by the way, this is from Memory Alpha, good old Memory Alpha. The Binar's primary language was a high frequency sound. That's the thing I love so much, unintelligible to humans. Though the Binars used it when they spoke to each other, every Binar was equipped with a buffer, which they carried at their waist to manage this rate of information transfer and had a small metallic component on one side of their head. Each of these mechanisms had a red light which blinked on and off when the binars were communicating between one another. Each of the binars had the component on the opposite side of the head from their partner, yet another aspect of their symmetry when grouped. There's a lot of information on the binars here that I didn't think you could get from everything here, but it mentions that Enterprise episode regeneration again, which I guess I have to rewatch because I don't remember anything about it.
the
Um,
Enterprise episode regeneration.
Yeah, but there's no Binars in that episode. It's the Borg. That's the Borg episode where they
Okay, I don't remember. Wait, the Borg episode
yeah, in Enterprise, remember they find the Borg from First Contact?
in the Arctic there.
Yes, that's correct.
How is that related to the Binaur anyway?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like maybe they knew the Binars and they mentioned them in the episode but didn't appear. This is what we need people like our friend
Oh no,
Robbie.
okay, no. It says that the Binars are mentioned in this episode by Phlox as being
Okay.
an example of an admirable use of cybernetic
Interconnected.
technology.
Right. Okay, there we
So
go.
so yeah, so there is like a relation between Binar and Borg in the way that they interconnect. But Phlox is saying that it can be done well or for good. So he's appreciating them, whereas I guess he's not appreciating the Borg because no one appreciates the Borg.
And they never will, sadly. Anyways, I just think it's so Lower Decks has a great kind of thing that it does where it brings back these species that you didn't think about too much.
Mm.
And it's like the Binars. Now I'm like obsessed with them, but I wasn't really thinking about them before before this episode. So it's pretty cool.
Well, it's cool. It's cool that they like it's always great when you like make your own species, but there are so many to play with that haven't really had their time to shine, I guess. So it's great that they do that.
I agree. Oh, and the Binar ship, what did you think of that? Here, I'm going to pull up an image of the ship. I thought it was also cool.
It was good. I like the lighting, like all the purple lighting. No, I liked it. I like the binars.
Let me see if I can get this thing up here.
They get
All
they get
right.
they get destroyed though. They get fucked up.
Well, now we know they're not destroyed,
Well, I guess they get
captured.
that makes sense though, right? Like there's two, like the two prongs because they're
Yeah.
binars.
And this is where the bridge is like over. Oh, hold on me. Can you see my? Oh, I love this thing. I love this interactive. Maybe I should do this instead of. What do you like better, my slideshows, or do you like this?
This is good.
This is good. I guess
I
we
like
could, because
this.
we could like really dissect stuff.
It
But like,
almost has an Andorian feel to it. You know those Andorian vessels that they showed us for the first time in Enterprise? Um, I don't
let
know
me
if you know what I'm
see.
talking about. Uh,
I'll pull it up.
yeah, no, it reminds me of that somewhat, in like the way that it has things on the side, and it's very square.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up for the audience here. There you go.
Mm.
It does have a vibe, but I like this. Like, I don't know what these are, these big components here, but I'm gonna imagine that that's the ship's computer. It's just so huge, and then that this little middle part is the habitat
True,
area.
because
And
it doesn't have any like there's no like windows or anything there, right? So I don't know if
yeah,
they
there's
go in
not.
there.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that
I mean,
they
it could
need.
be like a cargo hold too. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's true. Could be. What do binars do? Like, what's their whole deal in life? Like, do they just go around? Are they explorers? Like,
I don't know. See, do they explore? Are they about like art and culture? Are they creative that way, or are
are they
they just
looking for?
are they
Are
about
they
that
out?
tech?
Are they? Yeah. Are they about the tech? Like, what is it? Yeah. And why have we never used the binars against the Borg? That would have been an interesting thing to pit the binars against the Borg to see if they could have been a formidable match, an unsuspectingly formidable
Mm.
match for the Borg. You know what I mean? Like the Borg are like, what is
Maybe it's
this?
a little dangerous though. Maybe if one Binar gets assimilated, like the Borg now has like the knowledge of all the Binar people, and that could
Oh,
happen.
I wonder if there have been assimilated binar. There has to be, like, because the Borg do one-off assimilations too, right? They won't. They don't just like necessarily do your whole planet. Like if they find you and they think you're interesting, they'll assimilate you, right?
Yeah.
Someone's here to interfere with the show.
Oh no! How dare you!
Let me see. He's my
A lower life form.
it's not that's not a lower life form, Toddy. This is
It's a
not a
lower
lower
life
life.
form.
This is Arthur the space cat.
I will
Uh
rain upon your planet.
well, we talked a lot about the Vinar, so I'm pleased, but I guess we talked a lot about Agamus.
Isn't it?
We haven't
Isn't it
really
like
talked.
last? Isn't it last episode that we talked about how it's us humans that are the lower life forms? We are the slaves to the cats.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, another interesting thing. Well, we talked about how cats are how how cats use the meowing sound. I've heard him speak his native language, and it's like a bunch of clicks and little
What is he?
that's how cats.
What is he? A Zindi
Look,
insectoid?
he's looking at me right now, cause he thinks I'm talking his language. Yeah, he does like weird like things like that.
Okay, he's a
And
xenomorph. What the hell?
when he sees birds, he actually chirps at them. I think he tries to attract birds. He'll like be like, I don't know what he does. It's like really wild.
I think your cat might not be a cat. I think it might be like an alien.
Did you ever see? Have you shown your daughter on the tube the Cat from Outer Space by Disney?
No.
It's an old
What?
movie from like the 80s or the 70s, even, or maybe even older. I don't know.
We're watching through the Land Before Time at the moment.
Okay, we're totally not talking about this episode. Our audience is gonna get mad. You got like, why are we unmotivated? Because it's Sunday, right? We're not the pressure is not there. The audience is not keeping us on track. Audience.
Okay, I loved Agamis and I loved Peanut Hamper.
But the rest of the story was just
Gardening,
like whatever for you. Oh
gardening.
god, yeah, that was cute.
Yeah, like the rehabilitation thing where they were gardening, and Agamis is he's really like emotionally invested in how Peanut Hamper knows how to garden so well. You know what I mean? It's like they're handling this the water and the sun intake, both of them, and they're hype about it and they like it. And I think it was a really really clever twist because I wasn't expecting it. Like everyone, I think, like everyone else, I kind of was like, okay, well, she clearly betrayed Agamus. Like she played him for a fool, right? But I was like, she played him because she's evil, like really evil. Like he puts on this front about like being like he's evil, but she's deeply evil. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And it's like no, it turns out no, she just wanted to go and live this life, and she didn't know how to live that life with him because he's a classic
It,
mustache twirling villain, I guess.
well, also because she sold him this lie of like what their life was gonna be like. So I think
Mm.
she felt bad and then just like that's why she didn't tell him. Because
So
she thought he
he's
was
so
like
sad
super
about
invested
this.
in
You know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
He's sitting on that beach.
But
He's in that sand
Agamus
waiting.
but Agamus discovered through this, and that's why I think he ends up not caring so much at the end, is that like really all along he doesn't care if they're eviling or gooding or just cleaning windows on
He just wants to be
starships.
together. You
He
know what I
just wants
mean?
to be together with
Because even
them.
during the rehabilitation, like the scheme was to leave. You know what I mean? But was it really the leaving that mattered, or was it the scheming?
It was all the fun they had
It was
getting
the
ready.
it was
The
the
fun.
it was the
Yeah.
fun of the scheme, right?
The the
That's what
scheme. It's
counted.
true. It's true. It's true.
To
But yeah.
scheme with your friend is what counts. And then he gets all. I like the also the like the father thing where he's talking to the dad and he's all like, so no, it's not like that. Well, yeah, and he's like, you don't know, they're not dating, you know what I mean? But there's something there.
They're definitely gonna date now.
Oh yeah. Well, once
Out of
he's
prison.
free, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
for the
if he gets
moment,
free.
he's got to handle Tyrannochillicus and teach him how to be kind.
That's not gonna happen.
I like that. I like that. No, I think it was a charming episode in a lot of ways because that is a charming kind of like love story or development in these characters, but also the way that Rutherford handles Badgie by like he basically subverts the expectations of like friggin' clinging on Mariner that just grabbed him. You know what I mean? She subverts her expectations and ours too by
Yeah, he
saying,
was Rutherford was going to sacrifice himself. It's
"Yeah,"
true.
but then
Yeah,
he
it's
says,
true.
"Give me a hug," and he subverts even the expectations of Badgie himself, where he's like, "Bring it in," you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
my son, and he really treats him like it's his son too. It's like it's your creation, but I guess like
He says, "I was
Sewing
looking
has
at you like
normalized creations being your offspring at this point. I think.
he realizes that he was creating this like animosity because he was treating this sentient being that had feelings like a science experiment and not like what it
Mm,
was, which is like a creation. It's a really interesting concept as we go further into like have you seen the movie? By the way, shout out to Aaron Walkie. He's a writer producer for Star Trek Prodigy. Um, he was on another podcast and I can't remember the name of the podcast right now, but I started listening to it. It's pretty good. But they were talking about the movie Bicentennial Man. Have you seen that movie
no.
with Robin Williams? Check it out. It's like some people like it, some people don't, but it's a movie I really liked as a kid. Uh late teens, early 20s maybe. No, it was late
I've
teens for
seen
sure.
this robot before.
Yeah, it's based on an Asimov or a it's either Asimov or Arthur C. Clarke
Okay, I haven't seen it though.
novel. but it's about a robot that becomes essentially becomes a human
Hmm.
through its journey.
Okay.
But I like that. I think it's wild to me that basically when you look at the advances that are going on in the world now, like I don't know if you saw the Boston Dynamics, that company that's famous for those dog like
Yeah, they
robots.
they released the new video every now and then. They got an upgrade. I'm like, hmm,
Exactly, but with the combination of artificial intelligence and which is about to become uh
hmm.
which is
I
be-
don't know. I don't
we're
know.
about to have AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, and then soon after that we'll have ASI, I think it is, which is artificial super intelligence. And then
No,
after that,
I'm okay. Go ahead.
one doesn't know. It's like uncharted. Once there's artificial super intelligence, the we don't know what comes next because it could be wild. It could be any, like it could become conscious. It's definitely has the possibility, like artificial super intelligence is gonna help us solve problems that our current computing and human brain functions can't figure out, like higher level physics, talking about dimensions, like things that human minds can't comprehend, nor can the computers that we build so far. But a computer that is at a super intelligent level will be so much vastly more intelligent that it could probably solve some of these issues for us. So like warp travel, all these things are
We're not
like,
there yet,
right,
though.
we're not, but we're closer than you think, Toddy. It might be something that we see. Artificial super intelligence is anywhere from 5 to 10 years away.
I
I
don't
think
believe that. I don't
I
believe that.
I think you're
I
gonna
am in
see.
disbelief of this.
but
Prove
if
me wrong. But no,
but
um uh okay, so I guess this is on topic because there's a lot of artificial intelligence going on in this episode. As of now, I am not worried about artificial intelligence because basically the best way to train them and help them grow is through the internet, which is I guess like the internet is our knowledge and our experience, cumulative as the human species. But I do think the internet is also too stupid. So, like having AIs train on it, it doesn't. I don't fear it right now, especially considering there are so many bots and so many just rudimentary programs running on the internet like constantly. You know what I mean? Like there's so many like just bot Facebook accounts that are leaving random ass comments on like all of these pages. Like so to me, training AI on like the internet doesn't scare me at the moment until they start giving the AI like the ability to like selectively train on what it wants to train and until artificial intelligence is able to like I guess correctly assess what it wants to learn and what is worth learning, then I will start being a bit more afraid of it and a bit more weary of like its power, so to speak. Does that make sense what I'm trying to explain here?
Yeah, I guess so, but it also speaks to kind of like a more, if you will, cinematic and, horror story understanding of
Mm,
what AI does or is. At this point, there's no autonomy or anything. AI is not like conscious in any way. It can't
no,
make any choices. What the AI that we all interact with, the predictive text, is just fancy predictive text. It's just trying to figure out, it's
yeah,
just really good at figuring out what the next
but it's not though.
word
It's
or whatever.
stupid though.
It's neither stupid nor smart. It just either succeeds or fails, if you will, like
So in my
at whatever you
opinion,
prompt it to
so
do.
I'll put it differently then. In my opinion, it never succeeds.
Right. Well, it rarely succeeds, but right now, for example, this AI tool has already done a lot of things. Just I'll speak from, my personal experience with it. What I've seen in my field of, work and everything like that is that it's already succeeded in, like, for example, in writing, right? Like if you ask an AI, I think Michael Okuda was the one who posted this, and I thought this made complete sense. If you ask an AI to like write something on a topic that you don't know anything about, you'll look at the result and you'll think, wow, that's pretty cool. Like it's impressive. But when you ask it to write something about something you know a lot about, you start to see where it doesn't really know anything. It's just like
Mm.
giving you these kind of like, it's just surfing the web and then pulling like what it thinks, is the most, relevant answer or whatever. So it's like a fancy,
But
it's like a goo,
that's a
it's
regular
like a
conversation with another human, though, because most humans, like most people, have knowledge about pretty specific topics. And if it so happens that you know something about a topic and talk about someone else, um, either they're upfront about it and they're like, I don't know, or usually they front and they pretend like they know, and usually like this person doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so that's reflected in, like, I guess the analysis and the learning that these AIs that we have,
right.
and, and it
And then
regurgitates that.
and you've seen its image capabilities, like same thing on, at first glance you're really impressed, but when you like really look at it, they have like 17 fingers or like, weird
Yeah,
stuff
it's
going
all this
on.
it's all
It's
this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. So so yeah, so you get the idea.
so I understand that there is another kind of like thing that they want to do, is that they want to have kind of like this artificial intelligence, which is like what you say, it's advanced prediction basically. They want to have advanced prediction, be able to, for example, regulate water flow or that kind of stuff in, I guess, drought prone cities and that kind of stuff.
Right. And that's
Um,
where artificial intelligence might actually be something that could aid and assist in positive ways, because those are things that it could probably do a little bit better than, like, for example, build a warp drive, or something, give you the instructions on how to build a warp drive. So
I
yeah,
um I don't think so. I don't think we're there yet. Like, I don't think that technology is
but
at
we're
that
like
point. And
but
but
we're like maybe
I
2 or 3 years away from artificial general intelligence, which once that happens, like, then we're another maybe 4 or 5 years away from
okay,
artificial super
I
intelligence.
wouldn't relinquish control just yet. You know what I
You may
mean?
not have a choice at that point. Like, it may have
Jesus,
it
you
might
sound so threatening.
like,
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, like, there there may there may come a point where the
Tyrannosaurus of
AI
hell.
no, it's true.
You may not have
There
a
may come a
choice,
there may
young
come a
man.
point there may come a point where the only way path forward is to utilize AI to get there. Don't look up whatever you do, because this is something, and
I'm
I'm
not
deadly
looking up
serious here. I'm
anything.
deadly serious here. To anyone who's listening to this, with very great caution, do not look up the thought experiment called the basilisk. It's
Yeah,
an AI thought oh, you've
I
already
know
looked it
about.
up.
Oh yeah, I know
Oh,
about it. I know all
yeah,
about it.
that's
I confront
it's
the basilisk.
don't do it, Toddy, because it's gonna like
I don't
it's
care. Come for me, boy.
oh my gosh, Toddy, don't do it. Don't do it. Because if it invents time travel, we're all screwed. We might already be screwed, actually. The Basilisk might have already. I do have a plan.
What
I
do
have
you
an
know?
anti I have
You
an
have. I
anti-basilisk. I
am the
have a
basilisk.
you're
How do you feel about that?
well, I'm glad I'm your friend. I'm glad I'm glad I'm your friend. But I do have an anti-basilisk. It might be this. It might be what we saw in Lower Decks. We might have to just love it. Like, we might just have to full on embrace the
I had to
basilisk and
be a
say,
little threatening
"I love
because
you.
you were
You're
being
my
too
child."
threatening. You were like, you don't have a choice.
It's true though. It's kind of true. All right. Well,
You will
I
only
think we're
walk the path that I have set up for you. You're like,
Ta-
come on, bro. What the hell's going on?
Tony. We've got about an hour on this. I
Yeah,
think
this
we
is it.
talked about
This is the
everything we
end.
could
This is
about
the
this
end.
episode. This
It
is
ends it.
so, what'd you think of? I think I'm gonna give this episode a 9.2.
A 9.2.
Yeah,
I give it an 8, and it
nice.
is
That's pretty high.
it astonishes me because that is one of the I think it's one of the highest rated. I think I gave it another episode in 8 this season, but that's the highest I've gone this season, and it's one of my favorite episodes. I just think that
Wow,
the
and a Badgie
comedy.
episode, no less.
Yeah, no. So visually, the episode is strikingly beautiful. I think that it lands all its Easter eggs and its like lore expansions. I think it lands them very well. It nails them. I think that the message and the good and the kindness that is reflected uh, through through like through the storytelling is wonderful. I agree with the idea that like once you ascend, once you have the all knowledge, so to speak, I agree that like these little quarrels seem petty, but it's also nice to see that ultimately uh the highest form of existence that you can have is a good one and not a bad one. That's at least for these individuals, that's like the canon in Star Trek, and it makes sense to me. Like that's what we aspire to be. Don't we all aspire to ascend and be good? Is that not what we want?
Oh, I love that. It's a very good.
um
Nice
so
wrapping it up in a good way there. That's cool.
yeah, there was another way we could wrap this up. We could wrap this up by having like a you can edit this out, this what we're saying, and you could have it that it just like cuts off and there's like an image of a basilisk.
No, we can't do
That would be so scary, yo. It's like we don't even have time to finish the sentence and it just cuts off. Anyway.
I wish I'd never read about the basilisk. That
Oh,
frightens
you're the
me
kind
from
of person that
knowing.
freaks out about it.
I do freak out about the
That's
basilisk. It's
interesting.
true.
I'll
It's
protect you
true.
when
I
it
do.
comes.
Thank you. I hope so. And if you die protecting me, I'll mourn you forever. But
No, it's a great episode. I think it's a solid episode, and I think that for it to like bring me on a side where I appreciated the Badgie story, and I liked like the context in which it was used. I think that was I mean that was a tough sell, so it was a big win.
yeah, I agree. All right. So I kind of don't have anything to say in the closing because that was really well stated, and I kind of agree with everything you said. So I'll just say thank you, audience. This is like an unhinged conversation. I hope you liked it anyways. Like we didn't really stay on topic, but I think we did in a weird sort of way.
Mm.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back next let me see if next week we are. By the way, next week's episode is called Caves, and I predict you're gonna really enjoy that one. Um, right? Is it Caves next week? I think it's Caves.
Yeah, caves.
Yeah,
Who
it's
wrote
gonna
this
be a good
thing?
one.
Edgar Mon Plaisir.
What
I
is
don't
that? A French last name, or
know.
are you just pronouncing it French?
Well, Mon Plaisir seems French, but it's not spelt like the way that the French would spell it. But anyway, Edgar, you killed it. Good man.
Are you? Does it mean Mount Pleasure?
Mon plaisir would mean my pleasure.
Oh, well, it
So,
was.
but they spelled it with a like MOM instead of MON. But yeah, no, Edgar.
So Friday
Good
the
job.
10th, which is next Friday, we'll be back live if you're available, Toddy. So we'll be talking about the episode Caves. And then that Saturday, the 11th, Saturday the 11th is my birthday. So you can go check
What?
out, if you're a patron on Text Trek, you can come and party with me as we watch Star Trek Generations on the Text Trek patron Discord
Generations. Huh?
birthday time. Yeah, I chose Star Trek Generation. I really like that movie a lot. No, why? I mean, First Contact's fabulous, of course,
Did we?
but I don't know. I really like Generations.
Magnificence.
Magnifique. Mon plaisir. Mon plaisir. Mon plaisir. All right. Anyways, so tomorrow, when you're watching this video today, which is Friday, May 3rd, not da, 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 da. On the 4th, on Saturday, we are having our next Star Trek Deep Space Nine discussion at 3 p.m. By the way, the first one went really well, Toddy. We had you come in the chats and everything like that. It was a 2-hour extravaganza, fun stuff in the chat. So hopefully it goes well for all the other episodes, and maybe you could join us along the way. This is 7 seasons, just like TNG, so you could come in when
It's
you
a
have
wild
time and
ride.
like
It's a wild
it's a
ride,
wild
yo.
ride. Yeah, so like we did that. How long did it take us to do TNG? Like 3 years, 4 years, right?
It took you a lifetime and a half.
It did. It took me a long time. Starfleet So Hail's like an 8-year-old endeavor so far. We've been doing this thing for 8 years. It started out as Starfleet Boy, and it changed to
The
Starfleet
Endeavor.
So
I love
Hail.
that.
The Endeavor. It is. It's
The
an endeavor.
Starfleet Endeavor.
I think Father predicted after 10 years we'll have covered everything that's Star Trek episode by episode. Or it was like 7 years, I think, if we did it like weekly religiously. I mean, you could do it a lot faster if you did it, if I had the time,
If
I could.
if I run Star Trek, I'll release like 6 episodes a day just to fuck with you.
You always like figure out ways for me to not endorse you to run Star Trek. Like there's always there's always something I like where it's like, oh yeah, like yeah, let's see. Okay, oh no, I can't endorse you. Like, okay. So alas. It is what it is.
Alas, it is what it is.
Who knows what the future holds? You might one
I
day
have
be up
passed the
there.
test.
Yeah.
I shall diminish into the west.
I didn't know which test you passed. If you're gonna be, that's good though. The Galadriel test. I can't wait till we can do Second Breakfast again, Toddy, because it's coming. They're coming.
That's it. That's it.
The
It's
Lord of the
coming.
Rings is coming back. It's gonna be back. All right.
I
Anyways,
do. I do
folks,
feel like, as a final note, that when we do our second breakfast discussions, we need to have potatoes and like mashed potatoes and sausages on
potatoes.
stream.
We have to try to get.
Potatoes. I think every episode we need a different kind of potato, like a different way to cook a potato.
We have to try to get our homeboy Paul Sutherland back on the streaming. He was
Yo,
always a
Big
good
P.
big. P.
I think
Yo,
this.
Big P.
I think this is the end of the stream.
All right. Live long and
Yes.
prosper, everyone. And we'll see you next time. Don't forget to check out Text Trek tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Live long and prosper, and we will see you.